If you're looking for a centrally located 2-bedroom condo in San Francisco and your budget is somewhere around 1.5, I bet you're a little frustrated, a little confused. Trust me, you are not alone. The truth is the 1.4 to the 1.6 condo budget in the city is one of the trickiest ones, but it is very possible to be successful. You just have to know which levers to pull. Today, I'm going to show you this beautiful condo in Eureka Valley that not only delivers on location and price point, but it also has incredible views. We're going to walk you through the trade-offs that makes this price point possible. I'm also going to take you to Kite Hill to give you a better sense of what it's like to live here. My name is Valerie. My team and I are selling more homes in San Francisco than any other team, which means that we're here to give you the most up-to-date information on the offers that we're writing every week and the homes that we're selling. We can give you the lowdown, the nitty-gritty, everything you need to know. Be sure to check out our videos every Monday at 5 for the latest info on what's going on in the city. Okay, now let's go check out this beautiful unit. We are here at 126 Romaine in Eureka Valley. This is sort of in between Eureka Valley and Twin Peaks. This is a 1936 Mediterranean style building. You can see from the outside that it's very special and beautiful. It's a 2-unit building. We're gonna go take a look at the top unit upstairs. Let's go. We are going to take a look at the garage at the end, but first let's start with the unit itself. All right, we are here. Like I mentioned, we're on the top floor. Really quickly, Landry, I want to show a couple of closets. So you have a little closet here in the front, pretty small, but something is better than nothing. And you have another closet here on this side. So you have a couple of options for closets. You don't always get a coat closet. It really varies throughout units and homes, depends on the layout, but it's really nice to have one. Okay, now we're gonna skip the kitchen. We're gonna do that last because you're gonna see the crazy views and deck from there. But let's start in the living area. So if you pan down, you have these gorgeous parquet floors. There, it looks like original floors throughout the entire unit that have been beautifully refinished. The layout here is incredible. It doesn't feel claustrophobic. It doesn't feel really small, but it's only about 1,000 square feet, maybe 1,010, which is not very large for a 2-bedroom, but they really fit a lot here. And there is certainly no wasted space. One of the things to think about when you are buying a unit like this and your budget is a little bit more on the lower end for what you can expect is that you need to think about price per square foot. So if one of the levers that you can pull is square footage, like let's say 900 to 1,100 square feet versus 1,500, the price difference there is going to be huge in terms of what you end up paying. So that's something to keep in mind in terms of compromising to make sure you get something within your budget with a 2nd bedroom. Okay, so let's pan out to this rest of the room. You have a lot of space to work with here, plenty of room for a couch, a beautiful light. You can see all of the detailing and the crown molding in the unit. So it's beautifully preserved. You get this like gorgeous shape of a fireplace. There's a gas fireplace here that appears to be functional. Sometimes these homes will have decorative fireplaces. San Francisco buyers are very much accustomed to their fireplaces not working, but it's always a perk to have one. And you have a secondary space here with a really good amount of light. You get plenty of light in here. And this can serve as a dining table if you have one. If you want one, there's another dining area in the kitchen, which I'll show you, but this could also be an office. People are always looking for office spaces. Now let's focus on compromises because that's something that I really want you guys to think through for units like this. Romaine, the street that we're on, is not a very busy street, but this unit is adjacent to Market. So behind here, you can probably see that there's Market Street on this side of the building. Now, these windows are double pane. It looks like they've been updated fairly recently, so you're not getting bombarded with noise here. But one of the compromises you typically have to make, not always, but a lot of the time, to get those elusive 2 beds plus parking in these central areas is that sometimes you have to be on a busy street. Now, you definitely are not on a busy street here, but you're definitely adjacent to one, so that's something to think about. Okay, now let's look at some bedrooms. Let's start with this one right here. So this is the primary bedroom. Really, really generous in size here. You have nice light. A moment for the views, please. These are incredible views. Because you're on this side, you get views throughout this entire side of the unit. You have city views, Salesforce Tower, you get water views all the way over there, and you have really no one right in front of you on eye level, so you get a full expansive view with like pretty much no one looking inside, which is fantastic. So this is a very spacious room. You can see here, king size bed, space for an armoire. You can even fit a little desk here if you want it. And then you also have laundry in your unit. You have a washer dryer right here, full size, very, very beneficial. Sometimes one of the things you have to give up at this price point is laundry that's shared with the building and not always in unit, which is great to have. You can take a quick little peek at the closet here. You have closets that have built-in shelving, which is great. You're not likely to find a walk-in closet at this price point. It's not very common. Let's go look at the second bedroom. All this area here has hardwood floor. This bedroom does have carpet. You can always change the carpet. You can put a new hardwood here, up to you. Again, this is a corner room. You have Mont Diablo views, bay views, city views, all kinds of stuff. And again, you're in the corner, so you have no obstruction. Incredible amount of light. You have these newer double pane windows that really keep you from hearing a lot of noise, especially in your bedrooms, which is fantastic. So this bed, it's about maybe a full, you can definitely fit a queen size bed in this room. Maybe not a king, but you probably don't need 2 king beds. Again, the closet here, not a walk-in, but actually much larger than what you typically get. So you have this full wall here full of closet space. I would say for San Francisco standards, this is quite generous. Okay, now let's take a look at the bathroom. That's definitely something we need to talk about when people reach out to us. A lot of them actually from YouTube. You can see our contact info in the description box below. If you want me to get more of tailored experience in terms of your needs, be sure to reach out and I can help you there. But one of the things they always ask is, what about the bathroom count for this price point? And I would say for this price point between 1.4 and 1.6, usually you're getting about 1 bath, not 2 full baths. Again, this unit has 1 bathroom, which is very much in line with this price point. If this was a 2-bed, 2-bath, it would bump up the price by a good amount. You have a little skylight tube and you have a little sky tube in this room, which keeps the light in. And then a shower, decent size, not the biggest bathroom in the world, but also not extremely tight either. I would say this is an average bathroom experience. And for having only 1 bath, it's not that bad. Okay, the most exciting part of this unit is the kitchen. Kitchen, dining, deck. This is an area where you are 100% not sacrificing anything on. And in fact, it is very hard to get the things that you're about to see in this room at this price point. Starting with a pretty sizable kitchen. So you have tons of cabinet space. There's cabinets here, there's cabinets down here. These all look fairly new as well. Floor to ceiling cabinets here, and then more cabinets here. So you're definitely not sacrificing on that. Full-size dishwasher, 6-burner range, full-size fridge, really good ceiling height throughout this whole unit as well. That really helps with the square footage. Whenever I see units that are less than 1,200 square feet, what makes the space feel so much brighter, lighter, and bigger is 1, being on the top floor, but 2, having this elevated ceiling that just creates more light. Okay, check out this view because you have views coming out of every corner with this unit. You have views on top of the sink when you're doing your dishes. Just absolutely gorgeous. If you come over to the dining side, so it is lovely that you get to fit a full-size dining table in this room. Now, if you never, ever use a dining room, then this could be another space for an office or a secondary like lounge area, whatever you want it to be. But if you entertain a lot, this is a fantastic space to have this dining room. When we talk about compromises, one of the things that we lose when we look at smaller square footages especially for 2 bedrooms, is that a lot of the time you lose dining space. You have like really small nooks throughout in the kitchen or in the dining room. Okay, now walkout decks. This is another fantastic thing this unit has. You have this private deck exclusive to the unit coming out right of the kitchen. First of all, you are not guaranteed outdoor space in this price point, especially private outdoor space. Sometimes you get a shared yard, sometimes you get a shared deck, sometimes you get a private space off the bedroom. I see that a lot where there's like little tiny patios off of bedrooms, but having one directly off the kitchen and sort of off the entertainment space is amazing. You get incredible natural light here, incredible views, tons of space to hang out. Some noise from Market Street over there, but honestly, very manageable for what you get. This is definitely one of the areas what I would say, this is pushing this unit into the abnormal, like really special side in terms of what you can find in the city for this price point. We're almost done here. Let's go check out the garage, talk a little bit about the HOA, and then head over to Kite Hill. Okay, we're here at the garage. Let's go take a look. Not the sexiest part of the house after we've seen those incredible views, but definitely super, super important, especially if you're serious about buying in San Francisco. You have side-by-side parking here, which is definitely not a compromise. If you're looking for condos with parking, sometimes you don't even get parking at this price point. But if you do, I would say 50% of the time you're looking at tandem parking. So it's great that you have two spots here side by side. So there's one parking spot here that belongs to the neighbor. And then you have one spot here that belongs to 126 Romaine, which is great again. So the other thing that you're getting with this unit that you don't always get is extra storage. There's 2 storage rooms that come with this unit. Again, not normal, not always guaranteed. So you have this space in here. This is actually very large for a storage. You can fit all kinds of stuff. It's also nicely finished. Sometimes you get this storage that's underneath brick stairs and it's all dingy and moldy. This storage room is actually quite fantastic. You can fit your suitcases, your skis, if you go to Tahoe, all kinds of stuff. And it doesn't stop there. You have another one right here. So you have a second storage room here where you can house even more stuff. The lender's gonna get in there and you're gonna see how deep this thing goes. So again, when it comes to storage, you don't always get it. Sometimes you get storage like the neighbors here where it's on the side of the garage. That's very common. But to get 2 rooms, definitely a plus. Now let's talk a little bit about HOAs because this is a 2-unit building. The nice thing about buildings like these is that the HOAs tend to be quite low. The fees here are around $420 per month, which is very reasonable. You can see all the way to $1,000, which is pretty normal for buildings of this size. But if you go to much larger buildings, like 10, 20, 30 plus units, it is not uncommon to buy a 2-bedroom in South Beach where the monthly cost is $1,900 a month. That is very, very common right now. And so although you're paying a fraction of that to be in a building like this, the downside, and I wouldn't really call it a compromise, it's just a reality of HOAs, is that they never have any reserves. You're lucky if there's $5,000 in the reserves for a building of this size. Normally there's nothing, and buyers have to just get comfortable with that because that's the price that you pay for having a low HOA fee. It's not having a lot of reserves. So something to get used to when you're looking at these buildings. Okay, now let's go take a look at Kite Hill. Let's walk around the neighborhood. Let's talk real estate stats and a little bit more. Let's go. All right, let's talk about the next compromise. It's definitely something that is a big topic, which is neighborhood. So as I mentioned earlier, we are between Twin Peaks and Eureka Valley. We're definitely close to Market Street, so on that edge, which is why you're getting some more wind here than you would get on the lower end of Eureka Valley. One of the biggest compromises with this unit is that you're not that walkable to everything. On paper, you're about a 15-minute walk to the Castro commercial corridor. You're another 15-minute walk to the Noe corridor on 24th, but it's definitely a pretty steep and hilly walk and not one that most people are looking to do every single day. Do you want to be walking distance to a bunch of restaurants and grocery stores? You're not going to get that up here. Now, there is a premium for walkability. So this same unit, for some reason, let's say it had similar views, but you're only a few minute walk from 24th Street in Noe, that would significantly change the price point. I would say minimum 20% in what you can expect. However, you do have a little outdoor space nearby here. We're walking to Kite Hill right now, which is only a 4-minute walk from the unit. And it's a fairly flat walk. You can see me doing it right now. I just left the unit and we're gonna be there here shortly. So as far as hilly walks go, you have a couple amenities nearby that don't require a lot of steep walking, but definitely one compromise you have to keep in mind to stay in centrally located areas. San Francisco has 89 neighborhoods. There's a lot to understand. If you want more data, more nuance in terms of what you're looking for, really take a deep dive into a bunch of different neighborhoods and stats, please check out our website. It is jam-packed with information. Go down to episode description. There's a link there. If you want to take a few minutes to fill out a form, go ahead and fill it out. It reaches out to us directly, and then we can create a more tailored search for you. Now, let's also talk about real estate stats. You probably see these like really pretty buildings around me here. You've heard me say the word centrally located, I think like 8 times in this video. But what does that mean? So when people say centrally located in San Francisco, they are talking about the main areas. We'll pull a map here somewhere to help you visualize, but we're talking Noe Valley, Eureka Valley, Cole Valley, Lower Hayes Valley, parts of Nopa, DeVos Triangle, those central areas where you are so interconnected with so many neighborhoods. There's a bunch of commercial corridors all around you, and you have access to all kinds of stuff, and you have sun, which is one of the main things about living in those neighborhoods, is that you get sun. Now up here, you do get some sun, not as much as in those lower areas, but you definitely get more wind. As you can see, my hair is blowing in the wind. Wind aside, you do get these beautiful vistas. So the views don't just end in your unit, you also have this incredible location right here. Okay, it's hard to not get distracted by the wind and the beautiful views, but let's talk prices because that's probably what you guys are most interested in. So like I said, if you talk about these central areas and look back at what has sold in the last 6 months, if you cap it at 1.5, there have only been about 27 things, 2 bedrooms and 1 parking, that have sold in 6 months. That is not a whole lot of inventory. So which is why you're probably feeling that frustration when you are trying to buy something within that price point, is because there's not a whole lot to choose from. Now, if you up that budget to 1.8, which is what I normally tell people when they say, Valerie, what's the budget for a 2-bedroom in a sunny, centrally located area with parking? I always say 1.8, because that doubles the inventory from 27 to over 50 in terms of your options. So that's why you're feeling that pressure in that budget, because inventory is not on your side. But like I explained, there are plenty of compromises and different levers you can pull to help you get there. I put a client into contract who actually reached out to me from YouTube. He called me we did all these exercises to learn the market, and a week later I was able to find him this incredible unit, updated, centrally located, walkable to a park, all because we understood what the levers were. So that's super, super important. Now, the average price for a 2-bedroom condo in centrally located areas is 1.8. That's very much within line of what we're seeing here. Now you can see this Kite Hill location, which is so walkable to Romaine. It's very accessible, great place to walk your dogs. There's some picnic areas, tons of little like walking trails on here, and incredible views. But this is not the only outdoor space that's near you. You have Corona Heights Park, you have the Randall Museum, you have the Douglas Park. There's so many areas that you actually have access very close by to this location. So green space, you do have plenty of options. And like we said, one of the main reasons people want to live in these locations is because even though they're not walkable, the restaurants on 24th and the shops on Castro are all very, very accessible to you from here. You don't have to go far. I think you're talking a few minutes worth of a drive or a pretty steep 15-minute walk. And if you want to live in San Francisco, but your job takes you to the South Bay or even downtown San Francisco, you have a lot of transport options from here, and the freeway is very close by. So you feel like you're in the middle of everything. One of the things that people don't want to give up when they're looking in this price point is this feeling that in order to buy a property, they have to be fully removed. If you've been renting in Hayes Valley or renting in Pac Heights and you want to own something but don't want to give up the lifestyle that you have, these are the units that you're looking at this price point. If you want to learn more about the Castro, Eureka Valley, and go way more in depth as to what makes this iconic neighborhood so awesome to live in and why so many people flock here, be sure to check out our next video that goes fully into Eureka Valley.